My name is David Clay, and welcome to another video on the Gospel of Thomas. In this video we will be explaining the meaning of saying number 30, which is certainly one of the more enigmatic and curious of all the sayings out of the 114 sayings in the Gospel of Thomas. If you have a copy of that particular saying, you can read along with me. This is from the Patterson and the Meyer translation. Again, there are different translations, but I'm going to read to you from this one because in this particular saying, the translations do vary. Jesus said, "Where there are three deities, they are divine. Where there are two or one, I am with that one." Now again, if that's not curious, I don't know what is a curious saying. What exactly does that mean? Well, to understand this saying, the first thing you have to do is understand that this is a continuing part of a continuous whole of an explanation of a theme that runs throughout the Gospel of Thomas. And the theme we've mentioned in other videos is the theme of polarity. And again, that is basically what we're dealing here too. We're dealing also with the unification, the one consciousness of God being exemplified. But the main emphasis here is to explain that there are polarities that exist within our world, and it is separate from the one consciousness of God, which is universal. Anyway, to understand this properly, you need to go to the end, to begin at the end rather than at the beginning, in order to get a grip on what exactly this particular saying is trying to convey. At the end it says, "Where there are two or one, I am with that one." Now again, where there are two means that where there's polarity, there is not this presence of God. But where there is the one, in other words, where polarity has been overcome, this is what's being emphasized, then I am with that one. And the I am is the I am that I am that's referred to, that God calls himself when Moses asked him, who shall I say sent me? And he says, I am, or Yahweh, I believe it is in Hebrew. My Hebrew is probably not exactly right there, but you can get the interpretation of what I mean anyway. The I am that I am is what we're talking about here. The I am is with that one. In other words, when you reach a state where there is only the one, and you're not dealing with the two anymore, you've overcome the two, then you can rest assured that the I am is with that one. So again, it's emphasizing the importance of overcoming polarity. A difficult thing to do, I agree, but that's what is being emphasized. And later we will have I will give you certain ideas on how, in another video, on how exactly to overcome or to begin the process of overcoming this polarity. As long as you're in the flesh, you cannot overcome it totally, or at least most people cannot overcome it totally. I'm not totally able to overcome it by any means. I think Jesus is probably the only example of someone, and perhaps Moses, of someone that has overcome polarity totally, to where they can speak with the authority and the power, the absolute power of God. But anyone that can overcome polarity is what it's emphasizing. Then rest assured that he is, in other words, God is with that one. Now what it says in this carries us back to the first part of this saying, where it says, "Where there are three deities, they are divine." Anything in excess, it's emphasizing here, anything in excess of one can be considered infinite. This could be retranslated into saying, where there are three powers, or the indication is 4 powers, 5 powers, 10 powers, or ever how many number of powers, they are divine. In other words, they are divine creations. They have been set in motion with God. So the powers, this is you have to begin at the end of this saying in order to understand the first part of the saying. Well, I hope that's relatively clear to you. It's a very difficult saying, I agree, to understand, but there are other sayings that support this that we'll be going into later. Even perhaps I probably should have started with those sayings first and explaining them even before I came to this one. At least this will give you a preliminary understanding of saying 30 and exactly what it means. So again, until next time, I'm David Clay, wishing you to have a great week. God bless. Oh, I also want to mention, any of you that would like to support us, do so through Patreon. We appreciate any donations that you give towards our effort. Thanks again, and have a great week.